Hey guys, it's Ryan Lasan here with Inspire Brand Consulting, and I'm waiting for I've just invited my co-conversationalist, Kelley Nayo Ja, to join us. She should be here in just a second. See that hang on, telling more followers to join your video. Let's see. Hopefully, we can get some folks to join us for this fantastic conversation. Getting Kelley on board on today's live. Kelley's given a wave. Kelley has joined, and it looks like she is joining us. Let's see. Let's see, she's unable to join. Why is that? It worked just the other day. Let's see. I can see that she can see me.
I
There she
can.
is. Yes, yes. Hello, hello.
Hey,
How are
hey,
you?
I'm grand. How you
Good.
doing?
I'm great. Oh, grand. I love it. I'm doing great. Doing great. I
Good,
love the
good.
grand. You look grand.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for having me. I'm
Thank
so excited to be
you.
here.
Yes, me
hmm
too. Me too. So excited to
hmm
have this mystic entrepreneurial conversation
I
with
know, right?
my mystic sister here, sister in multiple ways.
Right. So
And
true, right?
continuing to discover all the ways that we are
hmm
connected divinely.
That's right.
Absolutely. So
That's
Kelley,
right.
here we are. We are having a live. We are celebrating a course that you have created, that you have developed, that we are
Yes.
offering through Inspire Brand Consulting for entrepreneurs, Black female business owners who are anywhere really in their journey of business ownership. And we're using today's conversation to really celebrate the launch of this amazing experience that you are offering to
hmm
inspire clients. Talk about the
Yep.
genesis of how we connected and how we
Yeah.
created. And then also talk about this whole idea of mystics in business. And we are not
hmm
mystics who are in business who have mystical businesses. I mean, our businesses,
Right.
right? No, really have anything to do. Kind of. Well,
Doesn't
we'll
look
talk
like it.
about that, right? We'll
Right.
talk
It
about
doesn't
that.
look like
It
it.
doesn't look like it. And on paper, in terms of our business plan,
hmm That's
certainly
right.
the metaphysics and the mysticism is not there. We are mystics and we
That's
own
right.
businesses. So we're
That's
going to talk
right.
today about what that means and what that looks like for both of us, and
hmm
how we have used metaphysical and continue to use metaphysical principles in our businesses to
hmm
create thriving businesses that make an impact on the lives of others. So
That's it.
super excited to be here with you today.
Yes,
So
indeed.
Kelley, give us a sense of just, who are you? What's your
Mhm.
background? What's
Yep.
up with you, sister?
Okay, so I am Kelley Nayo Jahi, and I have been, right now I operate three businesses concurrently, because, superpowers.
That's right.
So my first business I started in 2009, and that business is Nayo Partners, and I specialize in business management for creatives and visionaries, which I love that. So I help them create operations, and run their businesses. My second business is Body Butter by Kelley. I founded that in 2016, and it is a plant-based moisturizer for dry and sensitive skin.
Which is
And then
amazing, by the way. Just a plug.
thank you.
It's part of
Thank
my
you.
nightly ritual.
Oh, very, very good. Yes, thank you. Mine too. So great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then my third business is Swag by Asayo. I started that business in 2020, and we specialize in gift boxes for events. All of our for groups and corporations, and all of our gifts come from Black and Latinx makers. So it's a really exciting and fun business, and so that's what I do. I do those three businesses concurrently. Before that, I worked for corporate in many, many ways. And for 5 years, I taught an entrepreneurship class with an Oakland-based company called Uplevel Business Boot Camp. So a lot of folks know me from there, and I loved the work. But I'm super excited about this work because it's a curriculum really designed specifically for Black female entrepreneurs. And we have different needs. We have other things on our minds and some really unique things that I'm excited to really be able to zone in on in this class in particular. Now, there's some things that are universal. You got to get your licenses and permits and insurance, and you want to, set up certain elements of your business that are not unique to Black women, but there are other pieces there really are. And so I'm really, really excited about this curriculum. I was inspired yesterday because I was just gathering videos of Black women I know who run businesses that inspire me. Some of them I know, some of them I don't. And it was so fantastic to be watching so many just hours of people talking about their experiences and their journeys, which are complex. It was so great and so inspiring. And I was reinvigorated and just can't wait to share this content with folks. So I'm super excited and glad to be working with you, my Spelman sister, my AKA sister. So I'm so glad. And I see one of my other Spelman AKA sisters just joined. Leah is on. So so it's very exciting to be here creating this content.
Yeah, super excited. And another Spelmanite, Jerica Johnstone, just joined us from Kakumetic Yoga. She is an entrepreneur who is a mystic as well, awesome. And she's impacting a lot of lives. Awesome.
Yeah.
So Kelley, what are some of the things that you would say do make this a unique experience? It's designed for Black women. It is designed by a Black woman. It is offered through a company, Inspire Brand Consulting, that is designed for Black women, entrepreneurs, those who are looking to advance their career. What would you say are some of the things that make it a unique experience for Black women in business ownership, business management?
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I'm so sorry.
No worries. It is springtime and you're a human being. I mean, you're allowed to have bodily function.
I know. It's like, they're distracting.
I do know.
So some of the things that I discovered when I taught, I would have a mixture of folks in the classes. And what I have discovered is that for Black women, our businesses are so much more personal, are oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes like very personal to us. They are really an extension of who we are. A lot of the business incubators and things that are created are focused on, is this thing scalable and can you make a lot of money on it? And those are important things to pay attention to. Create, financial stability is a great reason to start a business. But for many of us, that's not the first thing. Like for my body butter, the first thing for me is I have skin challenges. And so that's why I created it. And so that's what I mean when I say it's personal. With the work that I do with creatives and visionaries, like part of my mysticism, if I believe like if I can understand somebody's vision or what they want to create, I actually then hold some type of responsibility to help them get there. So if someone describes something to me, it might be something that's never even been done before. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good idea. If I catch the vision, now I'm a part of the equation. And so now I need to give them whatever resources I might have or point them in the direction. But I feel responsible. And so that to me is an example of how our businesses are personal. Or then our third business is Swag by Asayo. All of the vendors are Black and Latinx makers. That matters to me that they make money. I want to see all small businesses do well. So it's very personal to me. So learning how to have that vested interest, but not to your financial detriment, which is oftentimes what happens because we love it. There are a lot of times we make decisions and choices based that solely on here, and they don't really tap into, but we need to figure out how to create income, about this. The other piece is that a lot of times many of us are not taught about how to create income and how to manage our financial resources. It's just not one of the many things that many folks have not talked about. They didn't learn it at home. Maybe their family didn't even have a strong enough sense to teach them much. And so again, learning how to look at your business in a way that is a business and that you're creating income, and how do you do that? And then how do you manage these financial assets, the money that comes to you, what do you do with it? And how do you connect with it. So what I actually teach is about your relationship with money. That's a really important piece, and it's more important than knowing the balance sheet and knowing income statements and how to create them. And more to me, that is so much more important, because once you figure out what's going on with that relationship and clean it up and make it a friendly one, then everything else falls into place. But until that is in place, your approach, you're probably likely going to continue to have challenges with money, no matter how much you're earning or not earning. So those are some of the elements of what makes this so important to me, for Black women. Also for me, I was, for 10 years, I was the only adult in my house, and I had 3 young children. And I just felt like I wanted to maximize the amount of time I spent with them. And I didn't want to give away my best energy and my best ideas to a corporation and help this organization become rich. So I figured out, while my children were young, how to have a home-based business. And I always thought, I would like to teach other people how to do this, because a lot of times women will find themselves in this difficult position of wanting to care for, or having to make difficult choices that shouldn't be difficult. But if you have any gift or any type of a talent or a skill or something, there's a possibility you can tap into that and create some income. And so when it worked for me, I just felt like, oh, I just want to teach this to other people and just at least encourage people to think about it. It's not for everybody. Entrepreneurship life is not for the faint at heart, but at least if I get people to at least contemplate it. So maybe it's some extra money, or, just something that you're showing your family. Like when I did it, I also thought, oh, I want my daughters to grow up feeling empowered, seeing this woman boss. I didn't contemplate the impact it would have on my son. And so when you ask him what he loves about his mom, one of the things he says, he loves that I'm an entrepreneur, and that he liked seeing me run businesses. So I think that there's just so much there, so much richness that we can just uncover. And it helps us appreciate our own value differently when we really peel back the layers and look at, oh, actually, I am really good at this thing. And actually, I really care about this. And I can actually turn it into a way to support my family or to achieve my dreams or whatever it is.
So beautiful, Kelley. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much for giving a really deep dive into your perspective, your motivation, your inspiration around your businesses and around this course and around your love and passion for entrepreneurship. It reminds me, and one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about this course as well, is exactly what you said, is most entrepreneurs do not know how to run a business. And that's because most entrepreneurs, as you shared, are people, and Michael Gerber, if anyone's out there who's looking for a great book to read, his book called The E-Myth is fantastic. One of the things that he teaches is that most entrepreneurs are people who are technicians. They have a special skill or a special interest in something. They're doctor, lawyer, accountant, teacher, professor, whatever, on and on and on, these specialties. And they walk into their place of business one day and they look around and they're like, I'm not doing this anymore for someone else. I'm doing this for me. I'm going to take my specialty and I'm going to now create a business. And I'm going to go off and I'm into the sunset and this is going to be successful. And then what the person has wound up doing is they have wound up creating a job for themselves that is not only their specialty or their technique, but it is also the soup kitchen person. It's also the receptionist. It's also the janitor. It's also the marketer, the salesperson. And none of that they really signed up for. They wanted to do that specialty, or they wanted to exercise a passion that they had, that they wanted to move from a hobby into something more formal. And so here they are, they have put everything into this basket and they are overwhelmed, frustrated. And what winds up happening, and I know this for myself, is it can be the most soul-sucking experience when you are doing everything that you can to hold on to your passion, hold on to your business, and you really don't know how. You don't know how to be an entrepreneur. And that has been one of the scariest, honestly, most traumatic experiences in entrepreneurship, is learning to be an entrepreneur. I didn't even know what that meant until I got my feet wet into entrepreneurship. And so when our paths divinely crossed this past winter, and you had shared that you taught entrepreneurship, immediately I was like, Kelley, please, we've got to figure out how, one, I can learn this information, because I've been in business for 6 years. My passion, Inspire, started in '09, almost a decade ago. And as an entrepreneur, I'm learning something new every single day. I have got a thriving business. I impact lots of people's lives. And yet running the business has nothing to do with my technical skill of being a masterful coach. And so I love this idea of really teaching people how to have relationships with their business, how to have relationships that are positive. We all have relationships with everything, with a business, with money, with everything in our lives we have a relationship with. Is it a healthy relationship? Is it a thriving relationship? Is it a relationship that is, indicative of the best of you versus the fear of you? And I love that you teach people, specifically Black women, how to do that, because entrepreneurship is not something that is learned on the job. It is something that is learned in entrepreneurship. And so love that you're doing that. And I couldn't agree more that as Black women, we really are connected to our businesses. My business is something that if I had a different kind of lifestyle, I would maybe do for free. I love it. I love what I do. And so there does become a point in time where you have to say, how can I love this and formalize this and systematize this and make this something that's profitable? And you are teaching individuals, you're teaching us how to do that. It's really, really fantastic. And how does the idea of mysticism come into play? Metaphysics, what does that mean for you in your teaching?
Sure. For me, and that's the beauty of metaphysics and mysticism, or any spiritual teachings or anything that you follow, is that too is very personal. And in the world of entrepreneurship, for us, this is an opportunity to not feel like you have to separate them. So to bring those practices that strengthen you, that stabilize you, that give you clarity, that give you guidance, to bring those practices actively into your business, it is amazing then how much more traction you can gain, how much more quickly. Like you said, I too am learning something every day. Similarly, NIO Partners was founded in 2009. So it's one of those, another thing that we share. And I'm still learning new things. And the biggest pieces that I feel like I'm learning are what else to let go of. And letting go of things clears a pathway for other things to go a lot more smoothly. So one thing that's really common on the entrepreneurial journey for many entrepreneurs, you have those moments of panic or worry or concern or necessity, whatever. And you say to yourself, I'm going to take a job. And most entrepreneurs find themselves not being able to sustain those jobs for very long, for either because of their own doing or because of what looks like the doing of the organization. So an example of that is that during 2020, I did take a position for 6 months. And so when the position, I was surprised that it ended. And within a month, because of my diligence around meditation, my diligence around, I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe that everything is always working for my good. Like, I know these things. And sometimes we feel emotional about an experience, but when you still have that knowing, in spite of the emotions, in spite of what those experiences dig up from you, when you have that knowing and you can act on that knowing, within 30 days, we didn't miss a beat financially. I said, you know what, let me just make sure that my NIO Partners, let me boost that back up. And within a few weeks, there was enough clients to shift everything. And it happened so much more smoothly and so much more seamlessly than it had in the past. And I attribute that to, there I was at this situation that I really exactly didn't want to do. I was making the best of it, but it wasn't what I really, really wanted to do. And in that space, I was able to get more clarity about why I need to continue to focus on businesses that matter to me. So that is just how I approach many things, including my business. I start my day with my Course in Miracles, but I also have my checklists, right? So it's not this space where I'm moving through without, my husband said something the other day, something like, pray and tie your mule. I forget the,
Mm,
I'll clarify with him so I can credit it correctly. But that's it. That's how it's like, yeah, follow your principles, get your clarity, but also follow some systems too, have a process. So it's a combination of the two, and they're equally as important. And I think I was saying, like, just figuring out what else can fall away. And when you get that clarity and that internal focus, then the noise that's around you becomes less important, because the noise that's around us, especially around businesses and starting them, is really not the framework that we've even been invited to. So these startups where you're quitting your everything and focusing only on that and borrowing money and giving away a percentage of your ownership and all of these things, you're doing all of that because this is that, but that's not necessarily the way that we start businesses, the way that Black women start businesses. So that's this idea of figuring out what I need to ignore and what I need to zone in on, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Was there more there?
I was just saying, you know, I just feel like the metaphysical practices and the spirituality help me stay zoned in and create more opportunities more organically. So even our coming together, I was following an impulse, and often, like, I've learned now to follow impulses. And so I saw a group of people and I said, you know, I want a group of entrepreneurs to connect with. I guess I'll start it. And so that's how this came to be. And this is how we found each other, because I followed that impulse. Now that group is not still going, but the impulse was there. And then I connected with you, which has been incredibly powerful, joining the work, you know, with the coaching work that you do and the Inner Circle Book Club. And it's a great community. And just because I followed this impulse is how I found that. I wouldn't have found that necessarily Googling spiritual business owners. I might not have found it, but just going, isn't something is telling me to do this. And so that is how I believe metaphysics shows up. And again, it could be any form of spirituality that you're following, but just feeling comfortable bringing that into the businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So much juiciness here. I'm like, yes, this is so good, so good, so good.
Yeah.
So a couple of strands that I want to pull out from what you said.
Mm-hmm.
One is this idea of bringing your whole self to your business. So as an entrepreneur, we fully recognize that we are our business and our business is us. There is really no separation. It is
That's right.
like a child that you have birthed. You are always its mother. It is always belongs to you. It is part of who you are. It's part of your energy field, what you've created.
I always tell people, like, imagine an extra limb. That's your business. So if you had a third arm right here, this is your business. It's never not with you.
Never not with you, right? Never not with you. And so there's a lot to manage there. And that makes me think of the fact that, and there is no right, there's no wrong. There's no judgment whether you're an employee or whether you're an entrepreneur. However, they are distinctly different things. When you are an employee, you are essentially putting your faith in a corporation. The corporation has someone eons ago created a vision. That vision is an entity. It has job descriptions, and you fulfill that job. Your faith is in that organization, that they will pay your bills, on and on and on. Whatever their mission is, you are part of that system. When you're an entrepreneur, you are creating that whole system. You are creating the vision, you are creating the systems, you're creating everything that goes within that business. You are creating it, which means that you are putting your faith in yourself, which means that this is a spiritual experience. This is not an experience where you sign up for something, you do your job every day, and you do it well, and you get paid for it, you get compensated for it. This is an experience where every single day you are looking at yourself in the mirror and you're saying, can I do it? Do I have the faith to do it? And one of the things that I love teaching, and I love teaching myself this, and I love teaching my clients, is that particularly in business, we have to see it first in our mind. So we have to believe it first and then see it in the physical, which, you know, we've all been taught this statement of like, well, when I see it, I'll believe it. And from
That's
a
right.
metaphysical perspective, that's totally backwards. We have to believe it and then we see it. So every
That's it.
day I have to believe I am an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur. in order for me to see it. I cannot wait to see myself as an entrepreneur and then believe it. I've got to
That's right.
believe it every single minute of the day. So that spiritual piece, that idea of bringing your whole self into the conversation is super powerful, into the business is super powerful, and really spot on. Could not agree with
Mm-hmm.
you more that this is, an extension of who and what we are as individuals. Mm-hmm.
That's it. And the other piece about entrepreneurship is that often we're isolated. So that's the other piece that I'm excited about creating the group with, because oftentimes we're isolated. If our families don't have entrepreneurial backgrounds, they are worried about us. They're like, can't you please just get a job?
Please
If
get a
you go
job.
to
You
them,
should. Yes, you should go
if
do this thing. I
you
just
go to
found
your,
this. That's right.
if you go to your family member with a concern or a challenge or something, and they don't understand that you can't not do this. Like, no, I have to do this thing. And so this beauty of these cohorts and these groups is that now you have another group of people. First of all, we believe what you tell us you are. We never change your diapers. We're not second guessing you. We're like, okay, you're a coach. Okay, we believe you, right? And I think that is why a community is just so important. And that's the other reason why I'm so excited about this, because here is this safe space where you can be like, am I doing this today? And you do have to find something to dig when you're standing there going, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, that was a big failure. I am not an entrepreneur. You need to be able to fortify when that happens. And that's where the metaphysical or the spiritual or whatever you believe in, you're going to have to believe in something to get you through those moments, to know how to respond. And you have to also be courageous, because sometimes we don't even know that that's what we're doing. We don't see ourselves beating up on ourselves. We don't know that we're sabotaging. And so you have to be courageous and be like, I am beating up on myself. That is not cool. So let me get this together. And then the other thing that I tell people that's incredibly important is know when to get help. So
Yeah. Talk about
if
that.
your brain starts steaming when you look at numbers, not because you have you worked on your relationship with money, it's a healthy one, but numbers, make sure, eyes crossed. This is the time to get help, because it's just you, more than likely. Sometimes, we will talk to people who have employees, but for the most part, we're trying to do it all. Get a bookkeeper. If you have a legal problem, get a lawyer. And the operations piece, that's how NIO Partners started. Business management for creatives and visionaries is, I'm doing this work so that the creative and visionary can focus on being creative or focus on their vision. And so then I say, all right, well, let me create the vehicle. And there are many companies, there are many folks. This is another business that people, that our people are starting, where you're helping people because you've got a mind for details and you've got a good memory and you're organized and you can keep things straight. And so I just really think it's important that we do that. And I love telling stories. I used to own a retail yarn store, and when money and things got really bad, I let everybody go. So it was just me. So I was the cashier, and I was managing the inventory, and I was managing the books. And guess what didn't work out? Just because I'm capable of doing all those things didn't mean I needed to be doing all of them. And so again, knowing when you need help and how to value your time and value other people's time so that they can help you. We talk about all of those things,
This is so
Yeah.
critical, because I can tell you, for everyone who's there, who is watching this, who will be watching this, for the first, gosh, I mean, I'll say even up until now, that is super relevant. This idea of finding partnership, of finding support. I was not having these kinds of conversations globally. I have a coach who I twice a month have this kind of conversation with, but I am not steeped in a conversation with people around what it means to be an entrepreneur. So the cohort and the community building that will be happening within our course is going to be truly profound, because as an entrepreneur, again, it is you and you. that is really the only person that is in that relationship. It is you and your business. And it can be quite lonely, and it can be very overwhelming, to say the least, to not really know where to go and how to have these, structured conversations with people, of course, that look like us and have the same types of passion points and pain points and understandings and context that this particular special group is going to have and bring together. Really, really, really powerful.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to talk about this idea of, like you said, believing that you're an entrepreneur and getting that mindset together. We're going to spend time talking about operation systems. You know, I'll give you an actual checklist of these are the things that we need to be thinking about. And this is how you can do it. And this is how you can structure it. Like I said, we'll talk about the relationship with money. We'll talk about accounting systems too, and what some best practices are, you know, for a lot of those things. You know, automate as much as you can is always my advice, even if it means you got to spend $1 or $2, pay for the automation, because especially if you're a solopreneur, you need your time to be spent doing what you're fantastic at, or at least good at. Getting your paperwork straight. You know, there's a lot, that's one of those other things that's very, very common for a Black female entrepreneur, is that we may not have all of our documents and we may not be registered. And, you know, again, it's a necessity. You just do what you got to do. So it's not a judgment, but COVID, if anything, definitely taught about the importance of being registered, you know. So when funds are going out and the cities are saying, well, who are the entrepreneurs? Oh, I'm looking for a Black female entrepreneur. And if you're not on that roll, at least they just know who you are. You know, those are the kinds of things that make that paperwork really, really important. And it does open doors. And so it can feel overwhelming and it can feel financially a drain. But there are times when that will pay off, you know. And then otherwise, you got to stay small. You got to stay below the radar. You got to. So there's a trade-off there. And we talk about balance. You know, the one thing you need to talk about balancing and thinking through our priorities. So prioritizing our work and then prioritizing our work in relationship to the rest of our lives. And we talk about getting clients. And I have a few entrepreneurs that I'm going to invite to join us, you know, some everyday folks. I have a few, like I said, we'll be looking at some content for some more high profile folks, a couple of TED Talks, but really, again, just talking about all the complexity of the Black female experience and all of the different ways that we've been able to create businesses, and how we can feel good about what we're doing. And again, like I said, really also, and get the money and not, you know, again, just paying attention to the money. It's important. And like I said, it's not always a priority. So just helping folks understand how to make that a priority, and that it's okay to set a financial goal, or, you know, that kind of thing. A lot of folks just don't do that. So
yeah, how to really get into a positive, powerful relationship with entrepreneurship is the focus of this. It's so awesome. Another thing that came out in the things that you were saying is you've listed so many different needs that an entrepreneur that doesn't have a specific domain needs. Okay, so for instance, any entrepreneur needs an accountant, lawyer, a marketing specialist, a great massage therapist, right? I mean, all these things that we need, a spiritual advisor, a coach. Okay, and that's regardless of what business they have. So you have, and just in this 2 seconds that we're talking about this one topic, we've listed at least 5 or 6 different types of other entrepreneurs that an entrepreneur needs in her life. And
that's right.
Anybody out there who has an inkling of, maybe I'll start a business, but my expertise isn't one that's valuable, or my expertise isn't one that's marketable, or my expertise isn't one that is unique. Please, 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 we need you. We need your expertise in business so that you can support other people with your talent. Whether you are, whatever it is, you are absolutely able to market yourself, create a business, get a system going, get yourself some clients, no matter what it is. I mean, we see businesses, everything from things you've never heard of to things that are the most utilitarian, mundane thing. You got a client for it. So if you are interested in business, jump in, contact us, join this course, and jump into entrepreneurship. Absolutely. Yeah.
And you get your network. And so then you're trading, you know, so you've got the accounting skills, and then the other person is an attorney, and now you all are using one another to build your businesses, you know, and also just know that your customers might not be your family and friends. And so if you're looking around your family and friends thinking none of them need what I have, that's okay. They may not, but they know somebody who does, or you know somebody who knows somebody who needs what you have. So
That's right.
definitely expand your vision beyond your immediate circle.
Yeah,
Unless your
yeah,
immediate circle is a bunch of entrepreneurs, in which case they're
absolutely.
probably looking at you going, why aren't you an
Why aren't
entrepreneur?
you jumping in this boat?
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
One of the comments that was made is this idea of what's written here is was thinking about that, and that was going back to when we were talking about this idea of believe it before you see it, or see it before you believe it. This idea of working for someone else, and the comment from the Stride of Life, who is a budding entrepreneur as well. Is talking about the fact that, you know, when you work for an organization, it's around their holidays, or it's around their system or their schedule
Hmm.
or whatever it is. And
Hmm.
how when you are an entrepreneur, you do get to, for all intents and purposes, you do get to set your own time. You get to set your own schedule. It's your value system. It's your,
Hmm.
you know, your stamp on that organization. Can you talk a bit more about, you know, how that has empowered you to like be independent or be an individual and not have to conform to, you know, some an organization's
Yeah.
ethos?
Really interesting. So the pandemic space blurred some lines a little bit. So I think what oftentimes happens is that entrepreneurs, that's the first thing they're like, I have freedom. I'll be able to do whatever I want with my time. But then you realize the boundaries and things exist for a reason, right? Because otherwise you could work all the time, right?
True.
Especially for those of us who are now at home. You can literally find yourself just rolling, having the laptop by the bed and just the phone, and then you're just working. But the point is that you have the freedom to choose. And I think that that's is what most important. Often the students who would take the classes would be like, I just feel better with 9 to 5. Like I just discovered that even though I don't have to do that, I feel better with that. That's when my clients are available. That's the structure I've been following for the last 10, 15, 20 years. So I'm going to do 9 to 5. That's what I do. Other people, though, what I actually recommend is people work in 90-minute work blocks and to
Mm-hmm.
do 2 or 3 a day. And that's actually an incredibly productive, fulfilling day if you're focused and you have your head down for 3 90-minute blocks. And you can do them whenever,
Mm-hmm.
whatever works for you. And you base that on how your energy is at the time. So if we'll talk about that more. But I do tell people that three 90-minute work blocks a day is really a lot. But you have the freedom to choose is the most important part. And so I tell folks to kind of look at what's coming up for them. Maybe you have a sprint coming up where you know that for the next 6 to 8 weeks, it's just going to be head down and you're cranking it out. But then make sure that you take care of yourself so that maybe you're then planning a 2 week break after that, where you're going to turn it all off. So I think that what's most important is that you have the freedom to choose to make the decision for yourself. And particularly when you're bringing on support or help, if you hire people, they're going to expect some parameters. They're going to need some
Sure.
boundaries. And so
Yeah.
then you've got to be like, okay, well, what hours, what's going to work for us?
Mm-hmm.
But the really important thing is that you have the freedom and the power to make the decision about how you want to run your business. And that's thinking about it that way. You really have to start thinking, how am I running this business? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what Kelley's going to teach us. She's going to teach us how to not only say that we have the power, but how to step into the power, how to step into that power of
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship with knowledge and with wisdom. It's both. It's a twofold. It's great. All these books about business and mindset, it's fantastic. The knowledge is wonderful. However, knowledge, as Abraham Hicks says, words don't teach. Life does. And life and the practicality is what makes it wisdom. So Kelley's
That's right.
really bringing both the knowledge of how to create systems, how to automate, how to create relationships with your money, that checklist, and the wisdom of what does that mean in practice? What does that mean, as a person? What does that mean as a mom or a wife or a partner or as a dog owner, as all the things that women are? How do we do it all? And how do we set expectations so that we can do it all and feel good? That doesn't mean doing it
Mm-hmm.
all at once. It means learning how to scale, learning how to set boundaries, how to set expectations. But as an entrepreneur, we are learning every day how to do this more and more and more. And I have to tell everyone who's watching, that one of the things that, again, really excited me about meeting Kelley and about discovering more of what she has been doing with this teaching entrepreneurship is that I knew that I needed this class. And I've been in business for 6 years. So if I've been in business and I've been studying this like a crazy person, reading and implementing and trainings, and I still am excited, chomping at the bit, meeting a person who looks like me, who teaches entrepreneurship. And I'm like, how can I create a course so that I can take it and offer it to my clients? I mean, it is magnificent. I'm so excited with what you are bringing to Inspire Brand Consulting and really to the world. It's much needed, Kelley.
Oh, I'm really, really excited to do it myself. And I'll tell you that when I was teaching, I would actually take my course, my work through the class. So it is a never ending, like you can continue to learn and grow and be fulfilled. And I would do all the exercises, even, for all of my businesses. And I would experience like growth every time. I used to teach the class 4 to 5 times a year. And I would just be so fascinated that when I decided to really take it as seriously as the participants and do the things that I was telling them to do as well, right? Because that's the other part, in our college experiences and oftentimes even these small business accelerators, a lot of times the leaders haven't done it. And to have a entrepreneur teaching and stumbling with you and learning herself, even with all the things that I know, I'm still learning, and to have the testimony to share and to say, you know what, I did that exercise too. That was a drag. Let's scrap it. Like that sucks. So to just really be in there with you, it is definitely a group of peers. I've just been doing the thing a little longer and have some, some scar tissue, and have healed enough to say, that didn't work out, but here's the thing. Then let me tell you why that didn't work out, and let me tell you what I learned from it. And I'm really wanting to share it. And to me, I think that's the most important thing, figuring out what is your gift. I feel like that ability to just share and inspire people to keep going, just you can do this thing, and push them to share their gifts. That is my gift, to be able to say, you can do this, you can do this.
Yeah. And so Kelley's going to take a very small group of folks, of Black women entrepreneurs, business owners, through this incredible 6-week course. It is starting June 15th, so 2 Tuesdays from today. We'll be starting 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 consecutive Tuesdays until July 20th. They are 3-hour sessions. It's capped at 8 people. We've already got 3 seats taken, so there's 5 left. So if you are interested, I highly suggest we welcome you to check out our webpage, which is inspirebrandconsulting.com/e-school. E-school, and that is for entrepreneurial school, e-school, and the e-school. And the course is called Activate the Heart and Soul of Your Business, Knowledge and Wisdom for Black Female Entrepreneurs. And it is led by the one and only Kelley Nayo. Pronounce your last name for me. Jahi.
Kelley
Nayo Jahi. And super excited to have you and your knowledge and your wisdom and your scar tissue and all that you are bringing to this experience. It is needed. There are so many beautiful ideas and visions that honestly, go to the graveyard to die much too soon. And there are all of these ideas and seeds of greatness for small businesses. They need cultivation, they need support, they need love, they need all the things that you just described a teacher does. You are doing. You are a teacher. You take your work very seriously. You understand the context that you're teaching, and you have wisdom around it. It's awesome. It's so beautiful. I'm excited that I am one of those 3 people who had my bottom in a seat for this class on the 15th of June. So, Kelley, is there anything else that you want to share with us in this live before we wrap up?
I don't think so. As I said, we'll definitely be studying some of some of the legends to me. So if you want to get excited about some folks to check out Yvette Noel Schur. She's a publicist. Check out Kimberly Bryant. She runs Black Girls Code, and she's a soror as well, aka. Check out Lovia Jai's TED Talk. She's a writer. So these are some of the voices that I'll be bringing into the class to just really inspire us and give us some insight about what they've experienced. And so check out as many Black female entrepreneurs as you can, and flood your social media news feed with it so you can be inspired.
Yeah. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelley. Thank you for everyone who joined us today live and everyone who's going to see this on the replay. Again, you can check out our course at www.inspirebrandconsulting.com/e-school. Kelley Nayo Jahi is our teacher, instructor who's teaching entrepreneurship for Black female business owners, and so excited to be a part of this amazing experience, amazing journey. And I'm excited to up-level Inspire to the next rung of possibility. I do believe it, and I know I see it.
Excellent. I do too. I see it for you.
Thanks, Kelley. Thank you.
All right.
We'll see you next time on our next Inspire IG Live. Bye, Kelley. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks. Bye, everybody. Bye for now.